Voyager 1 is sending strange signals beyond the borders of the solar system. The terrifying new signals are unlike anything ever seen before. Scientists are puzzled. Are these signals a hidden clue to unexplored mysteries in interstellar space? Or is the probe just malfunctioning? In 2021, NASA already had to deal with confusing data from Voyager 1. The data sent was puzzling, but it was supposedly a defect, and scientists brought the probe, which was already well over 20 billion chem away at the time, back into line. Now the game seems to be repeating itself. But this time, everything is different, say NASA technicians. Is Voyager 1 really lost forever? Voyager 1 is so far out in space that it is almost 6,000 times the average distance from the Earth to the Moon. More than 45 years have passed since the space probe set off on its iconic mission in 1977, and the probe and its identical twin, Voyager 2, have explored areas where no man-made object has gone before. Voyager 1 was the primary human test to reach Jupiter in Walk 1979. There, it took the primary nitty-gritty pictures of Jupiter's turbulent climatic designs, counting the extraordinary ruddy spot, and given captivating experiences into the differing qualities and movement of its moons. Since at that point, we have known about volcanic ejections on Io and had the primary proof of subsurface seas on Europa. After the fruitful investigation of Jupiter, Voyager 1 flew on to Saturn. The test mapped Saturn's amazing ring systems and found the fine structures inside the rings. It, too, took the primary close-up picture of Titan, Saturn's biggest moon, and uncovered vital information approximately its thick environment, provoking logical theory almost Earth, like liquid cycles on the moon. After these groundbreaking revelations, Voyager 1 proceeded its travel past the external planets, on a way that would in the long run take it out of the sun's circle of impact and into interstellar space. That was in 1980. The test at that point flew through the Kuiper belt for 10 a long time, sometime recently, at last coming to the mysterious edge of open space. After another 12 a long time, on Admirable 25, 2012, Voyager 1 was clearly unmistakable in interstellar space for the primary time. And there were a few shocks waiting for the analysts. Signals were so interesting they shouldn't exist. What was truly going on when Voyager 1 measured a sudden stream of particles in interstellar space? Molecule streams in open space ought to not really be so near to our sun-powered framework. Researchers suspected that the streams seem have originated from a removed occasion, such as a plasma launch from a star. In any case, it would be exceedingly abnormal for such streams to travel so distant into interstellar space and be carried so distant by it. You must realize that the closest star to the area where the puzzling stream was measured is more than 4 light-years, or 37 trillion chem absent. A plasma discharge stream at this remove ought to have long since scattered inside the vacancy of the universe. Numerous researchers subsequently questioned the hypothesis and acquiesced that we might be managing with a secretive obscure constraint. A few brave researchers have indeed hypothesized that the molecule streams seem demonstrate action from extraterrestrial life shapes. Shockingly, Voyager 1 appeared that the in-general molecule dissemination in space is much denser than previously thought. This may not sound exceptionally energizing to begin with, but in astronomy, just a few particles can alter our whole picture of the universe. One of the most striking highlights of interstellar space is the critical increment in infinite beams. As anticipated, Voyager 1 recorded a critical increment within the concentrated of infinite beams. This perception, given imperative data about the composition and flow of space, passed our heliosphere, for the exceptionally to begin with time in human history. The information from Voyager 1, moreover, showed that the interstellar attractive field is more grounded and includes a somewhat distinctive introduction than anticipated. These discoveries are not, as it were, constraining researchers to re-examine their models of the interstellar medium and the interaction between the solar wind and the interstellar medium, but we may need to reconsider the whole outline of our system. The attractive areas within the interstellar medium play a pivotal part within the flow of system, get together, and star arrangement. Some theories even suggest that the magnetic fields could also be remnants of a primordial magnetic field that emerged shortly after the Big Bang. These original fields could therefore still be magically effective primordial structures that carry the developmental processes of the entire universe within them, and are therefore messengers of cosmic history. Why is Voyager 1 so long-lived? It was a memorable day in human history when a Titan III Centaur rocket launched Voyager 1 into space on September 5, 1977. No one thought it would be more than 45 years in the future at the time. The scientists wanted to take advantage of a unique conjunction of the outer planets, which only occurs every 176 years, to send the Voyager probes to the then still largely unknown planets. The first target was the gas giant Jupiter. Voyager 1 arrived there a little earlier, although it was launched later than its sister. This was because Voyager 1 had taken the more direct, but also more dangerous course through the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter, while Voyager 2 was accelerated along slightly different orbits. Both Voyagers also stopped by Saturn, after which they parted ways. While Voyager 1 set a direct course for the end of our solar system, Voyager 2 delivered the very first images of the planets Uranus and Neptune. The scientific and technical successes of the probes in the 1980s were already overwhelming. The fact that Voyager 1 is still functioning and transmitting scientific data well over 5 years after its launch is nothing short of a miracle. The Voyager mission was an open-ended adventure. At the time, NASA was already planning a further flight into the Kuiper Belt and possibly even further. But whether the probes would actually arrive was written in the stars. The fact that both probes reached open space is an iconic achievement, and they could continue to deliver important data for some time if something hadn't happened that scared NASA. Is Voyager 1 about to end? It was the nightmare no one wanted to experience. In the middle of one of the most exciting phases of the mission, Voyager 1 reported a disaster in May 2020. It looked as if Voyager 1 had completely lost its orientation in space. But then the engineers noticed that although the probe signal was going crazy, it was surprisingly consistent. If Voyager 1 were tumbling around in space, the signal would arrive with interruptions because the probe's antenna must always be pointed strictly towards Earth in order to transmit the signal over the long distance. If the signal arrives, the antenna must also be correctly aligned, and consequently, the position of the probe in space must still be stable. So, where did the insane telemetry information come from? For weeks, there was perplexity. Signals were coming in, but they made no sense. The temperament at NASA was one of emergency. Handfuls of engineers set to work considering ancient development plans from the 1970s, bringing long-retired specialized staff out of retirement. At last, arrangement was found. Telemetry information is fundamental for checking and controlling shuttle because it gives data on the status and well-being of the different frameworks and rebellious on board. An examination appeared that the defective telemetry information came from the Demeanor Enunciation and Control Framework, IACS, which is mindful for indicating the shuttle in space. As the receiving wire was accurately adjusted, the program of the control framework must have some way or another got blended up. It was concurred that the IACS may have begun sending telemetry information over a way or channel not planning for it, which at that point driven to the strange information. The challenge was to settle the issue from billions of kilometers absent. One off-base instruction may have made the issue more awful and rendered the test futile until the end of time. The group worked hotly to discover arrangement and chosen to reroute the inside controls to an elective framework to see on the off chance that it would work once more from there. As you'll envision, the pressure was tall. The arrange was sent from the control center in California. Engineers had to hold up 20 hours for Voyager's reaction. At that point came the alleviation. The arrange had been a total victory, and Voyager was sending usable information once more. Then came another stun in the drop of 2023. Once more, befuddled information arrived at the control center in California. Of course, the occurrence was instantly reminiscent of the issues from 2020. But something was different. The communication disturbance happened for the primary time on November 14, 2023. Rather than typical radio contact, the probe transmitted an aimless, monotonous arrangement of zeros and ones. NASA suspects a glitch within the Flight Information Framework, FDs, which is capable for collecting and transmitting information from the logical disobedient and status data from the probe. Specialists have been entrusted with translating the enigmatic information. It was trusted that the information may well be utilized to draw conclusions around the blunder, and they succeeded. And designed from the profound spacer range, over which Voyager 1's signals are transmitted, found that the clutter of ones and zeros was in correct reproduction of the probe's FDE's memory. So Voyager 1 was still lively. As it were, the information was acting up once more. In spite of the glitch, the test was able to get and execute commands from soil, advance demonstrating that not all communication capability was influenced. At the time of the video's discharge, the issue still holds on. Due to the long separations and program impediments, diagnosing and repairing the issue is again complicated. So distant, there's uncertainty as to how the blame might be settled this time. In NASA's latest statement, the head of the Voyager venture, Suzanne Dodd, was not exceptionally confident. NASA is anticipating the mission to end prematurely. NASA is right now melancholy almost the chances of reestablishing the probe's capacity to communicate. But Suzanne Dodd emphasized that the group has not, however, given up totally and will attempt other arrangements.